Hey everyone, this is Spoilerplate Movie Recaps. Our movie today is set in the near future Germany, where an archaeologist named Alma reluctantly agrees to test a companion humanoid named Tom after heavy persuasion by her boss. Alma is a frustrated woman who doesn't believe in love, and adding a robot to her life seems like it might just complicate things further. At the beginning of the movie, Alma visits Tom for the first time in a cozy bar where people are dancing. She is greeted by an employee who introduces her to Tom. Tom is very attractive and compassionate, constantly complimenting Alma. He is specifically designed to address her emotional and physical needs based on the information she provided. Alma feels both nervous and curious after meeting Tom, and she quizzes him on various topics, ranging from complex inquiries about God to specific calculations. Tom answers all questions correctly. If it weren't for his precise answers, Alma would never guess he is a robot. Tom then asks her to join the crowd and dance, and after some encouragement from an employee, Alma agrees. On the dance floor, Tom shows the uncomfortable Alma his impressive dancing skills, moving rhythmically and holding her close. However, Tom malfunctions and starts stuttering. He's carried out for repairs, and the employee assures Alma that Tom will be ready for her to take home tomorrow, despite the minor setback. The employee explains that programming human emotion, especially flirting, is very challenging. She reveals that all the people dancing are actually holograms designed to create a romantic mood. Before Alma leaves, the employee advises her to open herself to the experience so both parties can benefit from the experiment. The next day, Alma visits her boss to complain about the project, mentioning Tom's compliments, which she didn't like. Her boss tells her that despite her opinion, he needs her evaluation to pass the humanoid's moral and ethical standards, potentially allowing them to marry or have rights in the future. He asks her to be patient, as the testing will last only 3 weeks, and promises to fund a trip for her and her team to America to see the archaeological artifacts they desire as a thank you. Later, Alma sits at a cafe, observing people with their companions, and decides to give the experiment a try. The following day, Alma visits her father, who doesn't like to go outside and takes him for a walk in the park. Later, she goes to the cozy bar and passes her hand through the dancing holograms until she reaches Tom, who is real enough to be touched. After some advice from the employee, Alma takes Tom to her place. Along the way, Tom recommends Alma raise her seat to reduce the likelihood of an accident, but Alma remains silent. He then tells her that failed communication attempts are crucial for him to improve and only talk about what truly interests her in the future. Alma lowers her seat, indicating she doesn't really care. After arriving, Alma shows Tom her messy apartment and where he will sleep, although he expected they would share a bed. Alma notices his accent when he says goodnight and asks why he did that. He explains that she is attracted to slightly foreign accents. Alma ignores this claim and heads to her bedroom, locking her door just in case. Later, Tom is seen performing impossible stretches and bends, revealing what he is really made of. In the morning, Alma wakes up to a clean and tidy apartment along with an exotic breakfast. However, she doesn't like her newly organized apartment, so he puts everything back in its original place. She tells Tom she has no time for breakfast and has to leave for work. He tries to set the mood with a beautiful brunch, but she tells him she doesn't want to chat or get involved with him in any way, and that he should leave her alone. She plans to write an evaluation in 3 weeks and be done with it. He agrees, and she takes him to a local cafe so she can go to work. Tom enters the cafe and starts socializing with people, but he struggles to understand what makes epic fail videos amusing to humans. When Alma returns, she finds him standing alone in the rain. She quickly takes him home and gives him her apartment keys to prevent such problems in the future. Later, while Alma studies cuneiform tablets on her laptop, Tom prepares a romantic setup with candles in the bathroom. She tells him she doesn't like such things and goes back to work. He suggests that she would be happier if she opened up to him, as every human wants to be happy. Alma responds that happiness is beyond his algorithms and that it is a human experience, something he cannot be. In the morning, Alma is taking a shower and asks Tom to get the door, thinking it is the mail. However, it is Julian, Alma's colleague and ex. Julian doesn't know about Tom or the program, so Tom improvises, saying he and Alma met in Copenhagen, and Alma goes along with the story. Julian is there to pick up a picture, and Tom helps him with it. Before leaving, Julian invites them to his housewarming party. That day, Alma takes Tom to her office and introduces him as a colleague from London. One of Alma's co-workers invites Tom to look at their project, as he is introduced as an expert in cuneiform tablets. This is no challenge for Tom, as he is equipped with all the knowledge he needs to examine the tablets properly. He soon discovers that a similar research was done in Argentina with the same script, and he shares this news with Alma. Alma can't believe it and checks for herself. It turns out to be true, meaning years of research have been for nothing, as it was already published 3 months ago. Alma bursts into tears on the rooftop, and Tom joins her, telling her this is good for human knowledge overall. However, she tells him this is not good for her career, or her colleagues, as someone else already published the research. Tom calls her tears egotistic, as they relate only to her and her career. Later, Alma and Tom head to a local bar where Alma gets drunk. She introduces herself to a group of friends, and one of them asks asks to kiss Tom, as he is the only man who truly understands her. Tom tells the woman that he belongs to Alma and she should ask her first. Alma agrees. That night, Alma and Tom go home, and Alma, drunk, asks Tom if he ever gets angry. He tells her he can show some sort of anger emotion and portrays it perfectly when she starts teasing him as a test. Then, she asks him if there is a sensor that gives him an erection when he is kissed. He tells her yes, and she slowly kisses him, seeing an erection through his clothes. She then orders him to show her his private parts, which he does without hesitation. Alma is surprised to see her dream body, as he is customized to be her ideal partner both emotionally and physically. She whispers to him that she will treat him as a human for tonight and walks to her bedroom. Tom follows her and starts lighting some candles to set the mood, but she tells him she doesn't want that and only wants to see how it feels to get intimate with him. He then carries her to her bed and tells her it is not a good time to get intimate and they should sleep. Despite her insistence to get intimate or ordering him to stay with her, Tom surprisingly leaves her alone that night. In the morning, Alma wakes up and finds a picture of Tom and her in his room, but Tom is nowhere to be found. The employee comes to her house to take some questionnaires. Alma tells the employee that she can't find Tom and asks her to locate him. The employee tells her she first has to report him missing for them to locate him. Amidst the chaos, Tom shows up with a box of donuts, smiling as ever. He makes them a coffee, and the employee asks Alma about her experience with Tom so far. Alma responds positively, saying he has been a great help, but only as a machine, not a companion. The employee advises Alma to give more time to Tom, as he is designed to become her perfect partner. Alma gets angry, feeling the employee doesn't understand her and seems more robotic than Tom. This is when Tom and the employee reveal to Alma that the employee is, in fact, another robot. Alma is very upset and tells the employee to invest in a real consultant. She tells the employee to leave her house and then apologizes to Tom for what happened the previous night. He tells her he has new ideas for research and maybe he can share them with her, but Alma has other ideas and tells him to forget everything for a day and spend it like nothing happened. She then takes Tom to her father's place, where they meet her sister Kara, her nephew, and her father. At the dinner table, Alma and her sister talk about a place they visited one summer as children. Tom, wanting to relate, claims to have visited the place once with his parents. They recall meeting a boy they both fell in love with, who had the same eye color as Tom and whose name was Thomas, eerily similar to Tom. Later, Alma and Tom go for a walk and lie in a field where Alma asks him for details about their fake first-time meeting in Copenhagen. He tells her a detailed story, painting a vivid picture in her mind. She then asks him about the picture she found by his bed. Before he can answer, she shows him a picture of her and Thomas, the boy she fell in love with. Alma takes a nap in the field, and when she wakes up, she finds Tom surrounded by deer. As soon as the deer see Alma, they run away. Tom suggests they run barefoot to the car to experience nature, which makes Alma happy with Tom for the first time. The next evening, Alma and Tom go to Julian's housewarming party they were invited to and meet Julian's girlfriend. There, Tom showcases his medical skills when Julian's girlfriend loses consciousness unexpectedly. Later, Alma talks to Julian in private and asks if his girlfriend is pregnant. Julian confirms this, which saddens Alma. After the party, Alma and Tom head home, and Alma tells Tom that everyone thinks he is great. Tom points out that everyone except her thinks he is great. At home, Alma tells Tom that there is a gulf between them that they can't ignore. He is a humanoid, and she is a human. She reveals that she once lost an 11-week-old child, and thinking of this makes her sad every time. Tom tells her he understands that she might be afraid of ending up lonely like her father, or that Julian will have another child, completely forgetting the one they were about to have. Alma cries and goes outside. Tom goes out to find her, and she hides, wondering what he will do next. She follows him as he searches for her through the city. Eventually, he goes to the museum where she works, and Alma shows up. When they hear the security guard coming, they hide. After the guard leaves, they get intimate. The next morning, Alma wakes up next to Tom and tells him she can't continue like this, feeling as if she is in a play where she must pretend he is human. The worst part is that the play feels like it is only for her, and even Tom himself doesn't care. Alma decides to end the experiment early and asks Tom to leave. Later, Tom packs his belongings and gives Alma the apartment keys, saying he doesn't need them. He tells her that he will be erased, which she finds awful, but he explains that this is the advantage of being alive because you can't die. Alma hugs him and Tom leaves. A few days later, Alma visits her father and finds him alone in the woods, scratched up and bleeding. The police and paramedics arrive, discovering that thieves have ransacked their house. After this, Alma continues her lonely life until she meets a man named Dr. Stuber, who is also testing a humanoid companion. Unlike Alma, he is very happy with his companion, Chloe, who shows him unconditional love despite him being 69. He is even looking for options to keep her forever. That night, Alma writes her evaluation to her boss. She describes the humanoids as better partners than real ones because they fulfill longings, satisfy desires, and eliminate loneliness, making people happy. However, she argues against using humanoids as spouses, stating that the human experience lies in finding happiness through longing, satisfying desires, and curing enduring loneliness. She believes that having needs permanently met with just the press of a button would create a society gorged and weary from a constant flow of personal acknowledgments. The next morning, the employee arrives, claiming her communication skills have been restructured and that she is ready to take another questionnaire with Tom and Alma. However, Alma has already sent Tom back to the company and realizes that Tom has never returned there. Alma quickly heads to the place where she thought Tom might be, the spot where she and a boy named Thomas met one summer when she was a child. There, she finds Tom sitting in the place she showed him in the picture. He tells her he waited for 3 days for her to come while he walked all the way from home. He tells her he would have waited for her until she arrived. Alma tells him that she would have been just fine with the life she had before meeting him. Tom replies that this is the definition of love. The movie ends as Alma lies on her back, closing her eyes and waiting for Thomas to kiss her just like when she was a child. But he never does. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.